Silver and Blue Huddle is back on a Victory Monday. It is always great to come back and do a podcast after a W, and that's exactly what we're doing. I got my man Expert Corner, so Mason's going to be back next week. But either way, Victory Monday is good. You know how the church song go. Victory is mine. Victory is mine today. And I'm loving it that the Cowboys actually, won a game. They ain't almost win. They won a game because I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. Almost is not in the standings as a metric. So the Cowboys didn't almost do anything. Almost is only good in the game of horseshoes. Like you almost made the hook, right? But in the NFL and American football, the only thing that matters is wins and W's. So you don't barely win. You don't almost win. You either win or you lose. And the Cowboys won yesterday. So that's all that really matters. So that's all I want to hear about. So it's how do you feel about the game? Exactly. Yeah. That's a very factual statement. Ain't nothing I said about that is cap or incorrect. When they actually add almost or barely or won by in the standings, then we would care about how much we win by or how we barely and almost win. But other than that, it's W's and it's L's. And the Cowboys got a W yesterday. So that's all that matters. So that's victory is Monday.
And as long as we're stating facts, let's just go ahead and get this out the way. The Dallas Cowboys have the greatest kicker in the entire NFL, and it's not close. Mm-mm. Can we get this man an extension right now? Yes. Like, just sign him to an extension. Whatever the highest paid kicker is, add $10+ million a year to that and sign Brandon Aubrey.
Yes.
Because, and Greg Olsen talked about it the entire game. And I get sick and tired of listening to him talk about the same thing.
Right.
That it's why teams are going to go for it on fourth down now, because if you got a good kicker and you get the ball at the 30, 35-yard line, you really only need 20, 25 yards and you're in field goal range.
Right.
This is how much the Cowboys know they got the baddest kicker on the planet. When Javonte Williams gets that football with 9 seconds left, he could have probably ran another 10 yards and got down. But he is like, screw it. They said they need 2 yards to get Aubrey set up, get it over here on this left hash. Let me get down real quick. And the other thing, when you look at Aubrey, like, you can tell when a kicker's like stressing about a kick. I feel like Aubrey's he's out there, he's holding on to his pads. He's like, just snap the ball. I got this. And then he puts his hands down. He kicks that thing through the 65 yards. That thing could have gone 70 yards. He really don't care.
Right.
But just like you said, wins are wins, and that's what matters. But
when is Aubrey's contract up? Like, we do need to go ahead and extend them. Like, go ahead.
I think he still has. I think he still has 2 years left.
2 years.
I think this year and next year he's got. It doesn't make any difference. Brandon Aubrey's not going anywhere. He will be a Dallas. This will not be the defensive end situation. He will be a part of the Dallas Cowboys. He will sign a contract with the boys.
And
they're going to make him
the highest paid
kicker.
And I'm hoping maybe Jerry is sliding him some money under the table. Like, yo, you doing good. Let me go and take
give
care
him the Kawhi Leonard treatment.
Kawhi Leonard.
Let me get you an umbrella company that doesn't exist and pay you $28 million.
That you don't have to show up for. You ain't got to do no promotion for, nothing like that. But here's your $28 million, you know. You just he really does deserve a bonus or something. Like, because the man's been saving the Cowboys for a while.
You could tell when you watch the videos of the guys in the locker room, they truly do love Brandon Aubrey because they know that is a special weapon they got in their back pocket. Mm-hmm. There are so many times in that game where I'm like, all right, we are in field goal range. We got at least 3. Now let's go attack, because you can be aggressive when you know you got 3 in the bag already. Right. When you're at the 50, the 45-yard line, that kick is done. It's a wrap. Now we could go be aggressive.
Right.
And we finally saw the Cowboys kind of do that in the fourth quarter. They got kind of aggressive there in the fourth quarter.
Right.
I wish they would have played like that the first 3. This probably wouldn't have been a close game. But then you got Super Russ shows up anytime he sees that star on the helmet. It's his Super Bowl, and he just goes nuts. Because I said this in the halftime on my TikTok. The halftime thing is, that's not the Russell Wilson we saw in week 1 versus the Commanders. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That is not the Russell. I don't know who that dude was. Right. I don't know who he was in week 1. But Sierra got him right going into week 2. And he came out and was just, probably part of that is our secondary who didn't play very well. But he's throwing lasers. Right. Neighbors is open. Wan'Dale Robinson is, it looked like Legion of Boom. Russell Wilson back again and just almost broke our hearts.
Yeah, him and that moon ball that he was just out there throwing it that just hung up in the air forever. Then it just comes down and boop right in the Giants wide receiver's hands. But Shout out to one last thing about Brandon Aubrey. Shout out to his wife for actually convincing him to go play football because he was a soccer
Yeah.
player. And I think he wasn't working out with soccer, but then he came and tried out for the Dallas Cowboys, and the rest has been history. So shout out to her. But the Cowboys got a W. Week 2, Giants versus the Cowboys. I think I said on the podcast last week that this was supposed to be a bye week, and I was thanking the NFL schedulers for giving us a bye week so early in the season, but it turned out to be everything but that. And the Cowboys came out. They tried to do some things on offense. They played horrible defense. At least our secondary did. We'll get into the defense, but I guess we'll start off talking about the offense. We actually got like a major injury to the offensive line with Cooper Beebe. Hopefully he gets a little bit better and he doesn't really miss too much time. But overall, with the offense, I was kind of impressed with. Well, I don't know if I really was impressed, but Dak Prescott played another amazing game. He did throw one interception, but other than that, he was just out there just throwing dots and doing what he could.
And it wasn't an interception. Go back and look at the film. That the ball hit the ground. It was not a pick.
Right.
But it was a bad throw. Dak shouldn't have thrown it.
Yeah, so he definitely was. He played good again for the second week in a row. He's used his legs, which I actually loved, especially at the end of the game. I think he said in the press conference that he is still trying to get over that injury. Well, as far as mentally, he's trying to get over that injury, and this game actually helped him get over that. But one of the things that he mentioned was that in the offseason, he trained like a little bit better running the ball. So when it came into the game time, he knew he had that ability to run, and he's still getting that over mentally in his head that he can take off and run without the fear of being injured. But shout out to Dak Prescott. He balled out. Welcome back, CD Lamb, catching balls now. No Butterfingers or nothing like that. So shout out to CD Lamb. Shout out to George Pickens as well. He drew a lot of pass interference calls. I mean, some of those balls was kind of maybe underthrown by Dak Prescott, but I appreciate the referee throwing that flag. And some of them was kind of very, very touchy with the defender as well. So shout out to George Pickens. Man, his stat line isn't as great as CD Lamb's, but you can definitely see his impact on the field and the type of coverages that he's demanding and how CD Lamb is actually getting open as well. So shout out to him. Jake Ferguson did what Jake Ferguson do, go out there, get in coverage and catch balls. We even saw Cavante Turpin before he got hurt, catch a few balls, run a few jet sweeps. So offensively, they did good. I mean, I think they did kind of respect the Giants' defensive line and their defense, because I don't like to give the Giants credit, and I rarely come up here and give the other teams any type of credit, but the Giants got brand names on their defense, man. Like,
yeah, they do.
The front four,
yeah, they do.
Brian Burns at linebacker, like, they are stacked on defense. Like,
yeah,
I understand why we didn't have like a high power offensive type of game plan against the Giants, because I don't know if Dak Prescott can sit back there that long and they throw the ball down the field like that with that Giants defense coming out. But overall, I thought the play calling could have been a little bit better from Brian in certain areas of the game, but I kind of understood it after seeing that Giants defense and how they was getting after the run game and how they was getting out of Dak Prescott. I think he might have took one sack the whole game.
Three. He had three.
Sacks.
Three sacks, but he only lost 18 yards and 3 sacks. So
okay,
you can look at that and say, hey, that offensive line did a pretty decent job versus a very, very good Giants run defense, a very good Giants front four. You got Dexter Lawrence. You talked about Brian Burns. They drafted the kid out of Penn State. It's hard for him to get on the field because everybody else is playing well. Right. But on top of what Dak Prescott did, we got to give a lot of love to Javonte Williams. This is a guy averaging 5 yards a carry versus the Giants, a very good defense. Came out here almost 3 yards short of 100 yards rushing the football. Mm-hmm. But between him and Miles Sanders, over 100 yards. Dak Prescott, 17 yards. Cavante Turpin had a couple runs with jet sweeps. I mean, this is where I appreciate them making adjustments going into the second half. Because if we look at that first half, I felt this offense was trying to push the run and be reliant on the run a little bit too much. And I think when you have weapons like you talk about, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Cavante Turpin, you have to throw that football around and make teams kind of back up a little bit. And then that's when you get to run it. And that's what happened in the second half. He started to hit George Pickens. He started to hit CeeDee Lamb. He's hitting Jake Ferguson over the middle. And all of a sudden the Giants are like, hold on, We can't put 6, 7 people in the box. We gotta get out of here. And then Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders get kind of some open lanes and get running. And Javonte runs angry. Like I just felt like, and obviously he went down on the first guy hitting him, but there was a lot of times where he's breaking tackles, 1 tackle, 2 tackle, and he's turning a 2-yard gain into a 6, 7, 8-yard gain. Just a great job. I'm certainly glad he's healthy, glad he's having a good year. And this is kind of one of those things where you look at Jalen Blue and you're like, I see why he's not getting on the field. You got a guy like Javonte playing like this. You want the veteran Miles Sanders in there for a reason. You got to love what this offense is doing. And then, we talked last week, Rich, they got to find a way to get George Pickens involved. Right. And they finally started to push the ball down the field to their big wide receivers and say, okay, I'm going to put the ball in those 50-50 situations. And either George Pickens is going to get it or it's going to be incomplete. And obviously we got the third option. You're going to have pass interference several times in that game where defenders just weren't in good position. They had to grab him, pull him down, yank him. And Dak Prescott, again, outside of the 1 interception, which he shouldn't have thrown that ball. I still don't think it was a pick. Played another really, really good game. Offensively, if we're going to put up 30, 40 points a game, this is a dangerous offense. But the problem is you can't give up 37 points to a Giants team because you got some tough teams coming up that they're not going to give up 40 points. And so you got to tighten up on defense. But great job by the offense. You talked about Jake Ferguson. I'm glad to see him back. I like Jake Ferguson when he catches the ball because he's looking for contact. He's not going down. He ain't running out of bounds.
Nope.
He's fixing to either hurdle you or try and run you over. And that's what I love to see about Jake Ferguson. But 38 completions for Dak Prescott, and he spread the ball around. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb's going to get his. George Pickens, Kevontae Turpin, Tolbert, Javonte Williams out the back. I mean, everybody caught the football. So it was a good all-around game for this offense.
Right. Now, did you have any issues with any of the play calling from Brian in this game?
Yeah, I think in that first half, he didn't really open this offense up, right? And so if you look at the Giants, the best thing about the Giants is that front 7. Their front 4, now obviously they had some linebackers in that game. They were playing some backup second and third string guys, but that front 4 gets after you, and they rotate guys in. They have probably 7, 8 guys in that rotation that can play really, really well on that defensive line.
Right.
So my big thing was I felt like I wanted to see them open the offense a little bit more early, try and get down the field, try and attack some of those linebackers in the seams. And he did really do that in the second half, which I think he understood he had to, which opened that running game up. So part of that is just Schottenheimer as a new head coach. Plus he's calling plays, trying to understand, what you do to attack teams sometimes. And so he made the adjustment where I think last year McCarthy is just trying to bang his head against the wall and hopes that it just works, where I see Schottenheimer kind of making some adjustments. Right. And he did that in the second half and ended up paying off for him.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of like about him as well, because the first half Cowboys might not be necessarily the second half Cowboys when they come out of the locker room, because there's going to be some sort of adjustment, some sort of play personnel that's going to be changing, different things like that. So I can kind of respect that coming from the new coaching staff in Dallas. And, honestly, this time last year or even years before, this is like one of those games where the Cowboys lose. Like, again, I don't know if it's just a culture. I don't know if it's just a new coach or what he got going on in Dallas, but I'm seeing things coming out of these Dallas Cowboys in these first 2 weeks that I've never saw before, and it's really making a difference on whether or not we catch a win or we lose. Like, again, this time last year, Mike McCarthy, this game is probably an L. Like, it really probably is. Like, Brian is doing an excellent job, and, I just commend him what he's doing. So what he's doing in Dallas and where now he's changing different things, I like it. I like the man. I don't know too much about him, but I actually like what he's actually doing, because, like I said, years past, the Cowboys lose a game like this. Who knows what type of play calling Mike McCarthy would come out there with 30 seconds left? Dak Prescott got in the field goal range.
I mean, obviously the 4th and 5 in overtime where he throws the 3rd and probably 8, he throws to Jalen Tolbert, gets him 3 yards. That 4th and 5, Mike McCarthy is risking it. He's going there. Right. They don't pick up that 4th down.
I'm guilty. I think I texted you and I said I would have went for that.
You did text me. You did text me and say, I'm going for that.
I'm guilty.
You can't be aggressive there, right? You have to put Brian Anger out there and say, okay, we're going to flip the field here. We're going to ask our defense to get us a stop, put us in a better situation. And then obviously Russ makes the one mistake he makes by throwing the pick to Donovan Wilson, which ends up giving us the ball back, but Dak still has to come out there, has a great drive. Could have forced, I think he could have thrown the CeeDee Lamb that ball on where he ran the football. He had CeeDee Lamb open, but I don't fault Dak for pulling that back down, trusting I'm going to get out this pocket, make something. They're in man coverage. Nobody's worried about me. I'm just going to take off and run, get this first down, and let Brandon come out here and finish the game. So
hey, I love it. Offensively, I mean, they could just continue to impress me with the play calling and the players making catches and doing what they're doing. Again, shout out to the offensive line doing their thing. I mean, they had their handful. And shout out to them, man. They holding their own. Other than the Cooper Beebe injury and Brock, I forgot his last name, Brock Hoffman. He's coming in now to take over for Cooper Beebe. But I'm still confident in the offensive line. So.
And we should be. Brock Hoffman has been in this. He's been here with us. This is not his first year. He knows this offense. He knows this offensive coordinator. He knows Dak Prescott. He's played with these guys on the offensive line outside of Tyler Book. He knows what he needs to do. I like Brock Hoffman. Obviously, I would love to have Cooper Beebe because he's been playing really, really well. But I trust Brock Hoffman to step in right now and play if that's who they go with. They could also go with TJ Bass. I don't know where their decision is going to go, but I like this depth of this offensive line. They made that a point of emphasis in this offseason, so we'll see what happens.
True. All right, now let's get on the defense. Let's give up the defense that gave up 37 points and what went wrong, what they could do to improve, who's maybe to blame for this, and because they was giving up streaks in the seams, and it kind of maybe seemed like, I know you said match coverage, but it seemed like maybe they caught them in like a cover 3 match most of the time when they actually hit that, maybe a cover 2 as well. But you're more of a defensive guy. Tell me what went wrong on the defense other than them giving up the deep
obviously
ball.
there was a couple blown coverages there. The first touchdown to Neighbors, they're in quarters. Trayvon is expecting Malik Hooker to kind of get depth. He kind of floats to the middle of the field, trying to take a crosser away. He's really got to just keep depth because he's got to be able to take that Malik Neighbors streak away. Also, he's got nothing pressing him underneath. He's got to run with Malik Neighbors and continue that route. I just think a lot of this it's a new defensive system with Eberflus. It's guys trying to learn this. You're missing Deron Bland. You have a Trayvon Diggs that obviously is not 100%. You're putting Donovan Wilson in positions that aren't comfortable for him, of playing single high safety and understanding what he has to do. And I just don't think that's where he thrives at, right? He is the bruiser. He's the guy that's going to get into that hole, make a hit, try and tackle a running back, but he's just not as comfortable. And I think he would say the same thing. He's around the line of scrimmage than he is 30 yards away trying to make the right decision. And then Elam's got to play better. Listen, cornerback is still a emphasis of need for this team. I saw they signed Jadeveon Clowney after the game, but I really think they have to address the cornerback room in this team right now. And I thought they should have addressed it in the offseason, knowing that their third-round pick was not going to be healthy before the season started. So you got an unhealthy Trayvon Diggs. Now you got a hurt Deron Bland. You got Elam, who's trying to prove himself after abysmal start of his career in Buffalo. And this secondary is just not gelling. And, we talked about it on the pre-show. The run game has always been the thing where we're like, gosh, if we could ever learn to stop the run, this team could be dangerous. Well, now I feel like they can stop the run, but now they can't stop the pass. And so They've got to find some balance. They got to figure it out. Obviously, they're going to get better. Overshown will be back here, hopefully the next 4 weeks. You got Murray played another really good game. Sanborn had kind of up and down. So I think a lot of this is the front four is doing really well. Kenny Clark, Solomon Thomas played really, really well. Sam Williams played well. Ezaraku played well. Those front four really held the run, held the Giants under 100 yards rushing. And so this is where the Cowboys just got to have some development in that secondary. And maybe look at free agency and see who was out there. You mentioned Minka Fitzpatrick. Maybe they can bring him in. Maybe the Cowboys go and ask Stephon Gilmore, are you still able to play a little bit? Can you kind of hold us over till we get healthy? Right. I don't know what they're going to do. They've got to find something because a lot of that just looked easy to Russell Wilson. It looked like walk through practice for Russell Wilson. He's literally just throwing practice balls to his guys, and they're wide open. Now, obviously, the one to neighbor take the lead with like 25 seconds left was an absolute dot. And Neighbors just makes a great catch. That is one crazy wide receiver. If they ever find a way for this offense to be good, the Giants could be dangerous. But this Cowboys team got a lot of question marks going into week 3.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants was going for it on fourth down. A lot of their touchdowns, like 2 of those touchdowns was actually on fourth down conversions. Like, they just say, hey, just go run the streak, run right by him. I mean, Trayvon Diggs got ran by like 3-4 times. Like, that just cannot happen. Like, I don't know what he really was thinking. Like, a lot of those scoring plays definitely involved him. I mean, obviously it was broken coverage, but man, Trayvon, you got to make. If you injured, you may just have to start sitting out, man, because you did not look good out there as far as like running. Like, it didn't look good. It didn't look pretty for Trayvon Diggs out there. So I don't know what we got to do. I respect his leadership. I respect for him. I mean, I respect that he goes out there and puts his body on the line. But bro, it kind of costs us a little bit on the defensive end. Like, if you out there,
it's one thing if the other 3-4 guys in that secondary are playing well, right? You can kind of mask Trayvon being at 70%, 75%, whatever he's at. But a 75% Trayvon Diggs, and then you got the other 4 guys in that secondary not doing what they're supposed to do. It's not a good scenario for the Dallas Cowboys. We didn't see just Trayvon blow coverage. We saw pretty much Elam, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, all of them have lapses that cost big plays. It's one thing to have a lapse if the other team gets a 4 or 5 yard pickup. It's a completely different monster when they're throwing the ball 30, 40 yards down the field. Those are the things they got to fix, and they got to do it really, really quick, because while they do have the Bears next, when you look past that, you got a very hungry Green Bay Packer team. You still got to play the Eagles. You got to play the Chiefs. You got the Commanders. You got some tough games coming up. You look at the Arizona Cardinals throwing the ball around, Kyler Murray throwing it like crazy. This is not the schedule for you to forget how to play pass defense for the Dallas Cowboys. So hopefully, obviously, they're going to look at this and they got to figure some stuff out. So I'm anxious to see what they do.
Right. So MVPs on offensive defense. Offensively, I mean, I always want to give it to Dak because he gets so much hate every single week, and he actually played pretty well again.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say, I Dak Prescott defense. I mean, I want to say maybe Solomon Thomas. I heard his name like 3 straight times on one of those series of the Giants, and he was just hungry, man. He was just out there. I'm like, who is this dude? But who is your MVPs for offensive defense?
Yeah, so offensively, obviously, Dak definitely deserves a piece of that. But obviously, I'm just going to go with the pick that everybody should say, and it's Brandon Aubrey is the offensive. Right. He is the offensive MVP when you got a weapon like that. Defensively, I love that you picked Solomon Thomas because Solomon Thomas had a really, really good game, and he looked like a first-round draft pick that he's supposed to be. Right. But there is a reason that Solomon Thomas can make plays. There's a reason that Murray can make plays, and Sanborn and Sam Williams. It's because of that big boy 95 in the middle, Kenny Clark. He demands a double team every single play. And so because you're double teaming him, it is giving single blocking coverage to guys like Sam Williams and Solomon Thomas and Ezraku and Moreland and all those guys that played well. So Kenny Clark has proven he was worth everything people talked about coming over from Green Bay, plus the 2 first-round picks that we got. If Kenny Clark can continue to do this and this defense continues to gel, this could be a dangerous defense. Now, obviously, there's some things that have to happen, but offensively, it's Brandon Aubrey. Defensively for me was Kenny Clark.
Right. And I agree with you. Kenny Clark is definitely earning his money, and I'm glad that he's here. I think he even had a sack as well, so he's worth it. But you mentioned defense and staying on that sign. After the game, Jerry Jones announced that we signed Clowney real quick. How do you feel about that? Obviously, I think our pass rush is okay. I mean, obviously, it's not as dominant as it once was, but I mean, the pocket is kind of collapsing on these quarterbacks. It's just that we are against some of the most elite quarterbacks, and they just sitting there just dotting us up. and the pass coverage. But signing Clowney, what type of impact do you think that's going to make on the Cowboys defense?
Yeah, so I don't think you sign Clowney as a guy that's going to play, 4 downs. That's not who he is. He's going to be another rotation guy that they feel like when we put him out there fresh, he doesn't have to play 50 plays a game. He can get after the quarterback. He is a pure pass rusher. And when he's healthy on a good defense, when he played with Baltimore, he had almost 10 sacks that year. So then you put him with a Dante Fowler, a Sam Williams, a Ezaraku, a Neeland. I mean, Odigizua. I mean, this defensive line just continues to improve, right. Which is a great thing because, again, week 2, no Mozzie Smith stats. So, listen, it's
right
great.
on the wall for Mozzie.
Listen, Mozzie should maybe go back to school and get his degree. I mean, obviously there's going to be a team that's going to take Mozzie Smith. I just hate to tell him this. It's not going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I think they are done with him, especially after the way Solomon Thomas has been playing. Right. With Solomon Thomas, Kenny Clark, and Odigizua in the middle, Mozzie's going to be the odd man out every single week. Now, obviously, if something happens, the injury happens or something, Mozzie may have to step in there and play. But, adding a guy like Clowney who can play the run, rush the quarterback, why not? Why not kick the tires and see what he can do for you? I think they signed him 1 year up to $6 million. That's chump change for the Dallas Cowboys. If he goes out there and gets you 5-6 sacks this year, it's a win for the Dallas Cowboys, right? So was excited that they signed him. I'm glad that he finally said, hey, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy. We'll see. We'll see if he's going to suit up and play against the Bears. Obviously, I'm sure Eberflus is really excited to get another pure pass rusher in there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I just want him to be able to make a few plays here and there because if I recall, I think the Giants had like a 4th and 20 and converted.
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah, it was a 4th and 20 and converted. If he had like a decent pass rush, that type of stuff don't happen. But I believe he was also still in man coverage on a 4th and 20.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
It's just one of those things where I think the Cowboys are, without admitting it, they're admitting missing 11. And
maybe
after you see kind of what he's doing in Green Bay, they kind of missed that in Dallas, right? Obviously, there's some plays there he's going to make against the Giants, right? He's going to win some of those one-on-ones on the still here. They got to find that guy that can do that consistently. Dante Fowler had some good parts, but that's kind of what they're thinking, bringing in Jadeveon Clowney, is maybe he can be that guy out on the opposite side of Sam Williams that can give us that outside pressure with Kenny Clark kind of pushing the middle of the pile. So we'll see. Again, if it doesn't work out, you really didn't risk anything. It's a 1-year flyer. You're not really risking anything. You didn't have to give a draft pick up. You didn't have to give a player up. You pull him off the street. He's still in great shape. Let's see what he can do. If he works out, great. If he doesn't, we'll move on to the next decision.
Right. And I agree. I agree with you as well with Clowney. Hopefully, like I said, I just want to be able to make a few plays here and there when it's 3rd and forever or that 3rd and 5 or whatever, and we able to get off the field. That'd be great. But coming up next, we got the Chicago Bears. I mean, I would maybe step out on another limb and say it's another bye weekend. Thank you, NFL schedulers. But after what I saw yesterday, I don't think I need to do that because you never know what type of Dallas defense you're actually going to get. So I'm just going to hope and pray that they don't overlook the Chicago Bears and they actually come out with a decent game plan to stop Caleb Williams. The Cowboys probably did get a gift because I believe the Bears defensive back Jalen Johnson is not going to be playing this week, so he's kind of out. So hopefully Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are able to take advantage of that. But it's the Chicago Bears. They're playing on the road. The Cowboys on the road can be kind of sketchy a little bit. Thank God it's not snowing or anything like that. But it's the Bears who are 0-2.
Yeah, but you have to look at this Bears team a little bit different. They're coming off a blowout loss versus the Lions, giving up 50-plus points. So they're going to be locked in. They don't want to get embarrassed 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
But the good thing for this team is that you talked about those quarterbacks they've played to start the year for the Cowboys defense of getting the ball out quickly. Russell is not holding on to the football. Jalen Hurts, they're trying to ball out quicker, run the football. This guy in Chicago, he's going to hold on to the football. and he's going to look for some big plays. So there's going to be some opportunities to get to the quarterback, and this Cowboys defense has to do that. But you also look at this Bears offense. They have two really good wide receivers. They have a really good tight end in Cole Kmet. Adunzi and Moore are two really good wide receivers that can stretch the field. And so this is going to be another test for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, they got DeAndre Swift, who, I mean, he's not Saquon Barkley, but I think he's better than Scatterboo. And so you also have to understand they're going to try and get this run game going. Plus, Caleb knows how to run. He's going to try and get out and move with his legs.
Scatterboo is like a mini Mike Allstock, by the way.
Yeah. Man, that guy's. I don't know how teams passed up on him, but you look at this Chicago Bears defense. They gave up 300 plus yards and 5 touchdowns to Jared Goff. And obviously, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I think Dak Prescott's better than Jared Goff. And so if Jared Goff can torch this team for 5 touchdowns, I think Dak Prescott can do the same, because I think Dak Prescott has better weapons than what the Lions got at wide receiver and tight end.
Facts.
So we'll see. I mean, obviously, Laporta is really good for the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Wilson, Brock Wright. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, they have talent on that team. Raymond. But this is a game where the Cowboys got to make a statement. You struggled. I wouldn't say you struggled versus the Giants. You were just in a dogfight with the Giants. It's a divisional game. These two teams know each other. It's a dogfight. You got to go make a statement versus the Bears, especially on the road. Like last year, going on the road, I was always like, oh, man, this is going to suck because the Cowboys do not play well away from AT&T Stadium.
Right.
This is a chance for Schottenheimer to say this is a different culture now. That is our home stadium for the week. We're going to play just like we play at home. We'll find out. I expect a big game, another big game from Dak Prescott. Get this run game going, and then hopefully this defense can find a way to get to the quarterback. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys. Of course I'm picking the Cowboys. But I'm not going to be as bold as I was versus the Giants. I said 40. I'm going to go 28-20. Cowboys win.
28-20. I mean, I want to say the Cowboys put up 42 points. I mean, I don't see that Chicago Bear defense stopping Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. They don't have the personnel to do it, especially with Jalen Johnson being out now too. So I think the offense is going to cook. It was kind of bad that the defense struggled with Russell Wilson last game. But Russell Wilson's actually pretty good, especially when you get him wide open looks like they did. So anybody can throw a streak when he's wide open or just throw it down there with this little moon ball. But I think Caleb Williams is definitely not as good as Russell Wilson, even at this stage in his career. And Caleb Williams is definitely going to probably maybe make some mistakes in the game, throw a few interceptions, definitely take a few bad sacks and stuff like that. I mean, I know they got a new head coach, the offensive coordinator that was for the Lions. He's supposed to be Ben Johnson. He's supposed to be an offensive guru. But like you said, I mean, it's the Bears. It's the Bears. I mean, they let Jared Goff go out there and be super Jared Goff. So, I mean, Dak Prescott is way better than Jared Goff. Offensive line is pretty decent as well. So, the Cowboys and the Lions are kind of very similar. Like you mentioned, all the Lions' weapons, St. Brown, Gibbs, Laporta. We got George Pickens. We got CeeDee Lamb. We got Jake Ferguson. And we got a two-headed run game. So the team is kind of similar there. And the offensive line is still pretty good. So you would think that we're going to have the same results that the Lions had. We just got to go out there and execute early and put the Bears away early. Like, don't give them no chance. Like, don't get into a shootout with the Chicago Bears. Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
It's the Bears.
This is the statement game for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Especially because you got that game looming after the Bears game where you got to play Green Bay. Luckily, the Green Bay game is at home at AT&T Stadium.
Right. So I'm going to go with the Bears on that. I think they win in dominating fashion like they should. I mean, I don't see the game being close. I hope it's not. I mean, the Giants game was only really close because the Giants out there throwing Madden-type passes on fourth down. Like, it's like the Giants' fourth down conversion jumped to 200% like it does on Madden. So
right.
you give up a big old streak.
Right. On fourth down in Madden, just chunk it up. Somebody's gonna catch the football.
Right. So I mean, I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this game. I mean, I hope it's not as tight as the Giants game, because that game was pretty stressful to watch at the end. Especially the thing is, when the Giants, like, 52 seconds, Giants get the ball, I was like, listen, I already know how this is going to end, because if you look at it, the Dallas Cowboys are a heartbreaking team, man. Like, they break your heart
Yeah.
every single week. So with 52 seconds left, Russell Wilson and the way he was throwing the ball, you just already knew that the Dallas Cowboys were going to lose this game. And then he scored in 20 seconds. So here you are,
Yeah.
32 seconds left on the clock. And what happens normally in Dallas Cowboy history when you got to drive down the field to make a game-winning play? A damn interception happens every time, or a fumble or something. So I was already expecting that to happen, but thank God that it didn't. But I was expecting heartbreak.
You always know how stressful it is when your and my text messages immediately just stop, and you and I are both locked in. I mean, we're texting each other in the first half, and then it was radio silence, locked in the rest of the way till he finally made the kick. I was like, all right, I got to.
Yeah.
Aubrey is the GOAT.
He is definitely the GOAT. I'm happy that we have him, man. And I don't want to hear nothing about these other fans, because when the San Francisco 49ers were winning games with Robbie Gould every single week kicking the field goal, nobody had a problem. But because the Dallas Cowboys out here winning games by a field goal at the end because their kicker got a leg that can hit something from like 70 yards, now all of a sudden it's a problem. I don't want to hear none of that. For years, y'all let the 49ers get away with that. When they had Robbie Gould and he was out there kicking 70-yarders out there saving their season. I don't want to hear nothing like that. Brandon, pay that man, Jerry. It's beyond time to pay Brandon Aubrey. Like, y'all hope you are definitely giving him the Clippers treatment and giving him something underneath the table, because that man deserves it.
That's right.
And if I was Brandon Aubrey, I'd probably hold out next season and be like, pay me, Jerry. You need me. Could you imagine a kicker holding out for money? But he deserves it.
Listen, I promise you, there are 31 teams in the NFL, after seeing the kicking that's happened to start this year, that would pay a lot of money to have a Brandon Aubrey.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They would pay a lot of money to have Brandon Aubrey. Ask the Browns if
the Falcons
with a Brandon Aubrey. You ask the Falcons, they win a football game when they have a Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
They kick it down the road, brought another guy in. He won the football game for him yesterday.
Matter of fact, the 49ers did the same thing. They actually waived their kicker like a week ago and brought in somebody else.
A lot of teams would love to have 17 on their roster.
Right. And like you said,
so
the luxury of having that man is you only you start at the 25, you only need like another 30 to 40 yards to get in field goal range.
That's it. That's
automatic 3.
You pretty much think we get to midfield, we gain 5 yards from midfield, we get to the 45-yard line, we can line up and kick this field goal because that's within his range. I mean, he hit 64 yards and had 4 or 5 yards to spare. I really feel like if push came to shove, he could kick a 70-yard field goal. Hopefully they don't try that when it matters. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. Hopefully they can try. Maybe they can try that 70-yard field goal when they're up by 30 points. They can say, you know what, let's try and kick a 70-yarder. Mm-hmm. But I really feel he's got that kind of leg for it. So glad to have him on the Cowboys team.
I agree. So we get by the Giants. We win against the Giants. I know almost or no barely or nothing like that, or we got lucky. We won against the New York Giants. Now we got the Chicago Bears, and we hopefully going to win against the Chicago Bears as well. And then everything is up in the air, man. Like, we're going to go up 2-1, and then we got Green Bay coming up the week after that, and hopefully we get another dub. Then we'll be either way. I honestly, if I had to look ahead, we beat the Bears, we'll be 2-1. We got the Packers. If we lose, we still 2-2. Look at the 2 to 3 teams after that. We got the Jets. We're gonna be 3-2 in 5 games. I mean, that's still pretty decent. But Chicago Bears coming up. I think it's a dub. Esper thinks it's a dub. We love that we came up here on Victory Monday after beating the New Jersey Giants, because they ain't even playing New York. I mean, go figure. But what else you got to say before we get up out of here?
Hey man, good week. Always a good week when we get a W. Y'all stay locked in. Make sure y'all hit that like button, the subscribe button. You do not want Silver and Blue Huddle. We will be here every single week, win or loss, doesn't make any difference, on the way to the Cowboys 6 Super Bowl. Appreciate y'all rocking with us, and man, y'all make sure y'all come back for next week.
Yep, Silver and Blue. We catch you guys next week.